is Zach Greenewalt with Dry Fly Collective Real Estate with Keller Williams, Sun Valley, Southern Idaho. I can't wait to get into the numbers here for the month of November here in 2025. So let's just dive right in and take a look at what happened last month. First stat we're going to look at is the median sales price. You can tell here that it jumped significantly to 1.5 million, just above 1.5 million. Now, you might ask yourself, all year it's been really consistent around that $1 million mark. Did we see some very serious appreciation come forward in the month of November? Not quite the case. Here's what happened. We had 8 sales that took place last month that were above $5 million, one being above $15 million. I think when you bring those 8 closings, that one in particular, into the fold, that's not only going to drive the average price point significantly higher, it's going to have an impact on that median price point too. So appreciation spike, not quite the reality. This number is a little bit misleading. So I don't have that exact median number, but just know that those 8 properties definitely drove that median price point higher. And that's why we're seeing it reflected right here. Let's have a look at our pending sales. So activity, right? What's happening in the market? What are buyers doing? Are they buying? Do people buy homes in November and December? They do. Look at that. We've got 33 pendings in November, up from last November, but you can also tell it's down from October. So we are seeing consistent buyer demand in the market. We are seeing it outpace last year, but we are also seeing the realities of what we call seasonality take shape in our market. Now, seasonality basically means you've got 4 quarters, right? Fourth quarter and first quarter tend to be a little bit quieter, and the second and third quarter tend to be a little bit more robust. You can tell if you look back at any one of these graphs, inventory rises in the summer, pendings rise in the late summer, early fall, closings late summer, early fall into the beginning of winter, right? So seasonality is not a unique real estate happening to Sun Valley, Idaho. It happens everywhere, but it's just something you're seeing here take place. So healthy market, quite optimistic here that we had 33 pendings, and that leads to closings. We had 41 homes sell in the month of November, an increase from last November. And so again, just the demand is there. I think it's very important to understand that buyers are in the market looking to purchase homes. They are being discerning though, and we will touch on what's going on with the buyer right now. Okay, so healthy and stable demand, not a dramatic acceleration or slowdown, just I think very consistent with what we've seen in years past. Active units. All right. This is an important trend to pay attention to. The one that's been building consistently is inventory, okay? But we see this thing decline month over month from a peak in July of 440. That was a really good number to see, and I have a gut feeling that we should see more inventory next year, but you can tell that the inventory is on its way down. And again, a sign of seasonality. So buyers have a little bit less to choose from. Sellers, you have a little bit less to compete with. It's a meaningful trend too, because if inventory is falling faster than buyer demand is, that's a dynamic that will eventually move pricing. But we're going to have to see what happens there. We're going to have to really kind of keep an eye on what happens with inventory and demand. Now, if we look at the month's supply of inventory, you can tell that we went from a balanced market in October, almost 6.5 months of supply. And again, all that means is if nothing new were to get listed, how long would it take for us to sell through our current crop of inventory? Last month, it would take 6.6 months. November actually moved down to 5.55 months. So we begin to lean into what would be considered a borderline seller's market. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. And it's not quite a seller's market, even though this number is starting to lean that way and maybe give a slight advantage to the seller. Buyers are still being very, very discerning, and we're gonna talk about that here too. So let's go ahead and look at the days on market, right? We're at 133 days, a pretty big spike from the month of October. And I think that's something that can get a little bit confusing, right? It's like, man, the demand is up, inventory's down. Why are days on market kind of on the rise there? And what that means is that the buyers are being a little bit choosy, right? They're being a little bit picky. Even with lower inventory, they're being a little bit selective on what properties they want to write offers on. And so sellers, it's very, very important that we are pricing appropriately and offering a clean and well presented property. All right. If we do that, if we price accordingly, the buyer is there. They are looking for not a deal per se, right? There's no bargains to be had in Sun Valley right now, for the most part, but they're looking for something that is well priced. And if you do that right, you're going to find yourself a contract, you're going to find yourself a buyer, and you're going to realize the goal of selling your property. So price accordingly, very, very important in our market right now. Now, how does this all fit together? What does this all really mean? Let's talk about what that all means for us as homeowners, buyers, in this market here in Sun Valley. Demand is stronger than it was in 2024. Okay, that's just evident. So a healthy market right now. Inventory is tightening every single month. Okay, it's going down. I do expect that to go up, but I don't really see it probably going up in the near term. I mean that in the next 60 days, I don't see inventory rising significantly. Prices appear flat, except when skewed by those higher price points. So again, we're not seeing prices that are depreciating, but they're not significantly appreciating. We're just very stable with our median price point across the valley. Buyers are in the market, they're active, but they're very intentional right now. November data doesn't change the trend. It just confirms what we've been looking at here for the last little while. All right. Now, what happens in early 2026? How do we wrap up the next couple of weeks of December? Buyers still have time. Okay. But it is a little bit more challenging with less inventory. But again, buyers have a little bit of time on their hands. Sellers have a clear advantage if they price their properties accordingly. And I think that's the biggest caveat there, right? The advantage is to the seller if they are priced accordingly. And inventory is likely to stay tight through the winter. And I would say that's going to stay, like I said, into the beginning of Q1 of 2026. All right. If the current demand holds while inventory keeps falling, we could see the pricing picture actually stabilize and it might begin to move in the spring, but I'm not calling for a jump in price points yet. We're going to have to really pay attention to the data as far as pendings and sales are concerned and really watching that inventory closely. If you're curious what all this information means for you, if you're looking to sell your home, if you're interested in purchasing a property in the Sun Valley market and you want to know how do these numbers line up around a particular neighborhood, a particular condo complex, I would love to be of assistance to you. Feel free to give me a call or reach out to me via email. I hope you have a great rest of your December and a wonderful holiday season.